Hey, what's up guys? Cain here with XBLA fans. I'm going to be giving you a quick taste of Earthfall from HoloSpark. This game is out now on Xbox One for $39.99. There's 10 levels to the game. They will continue to add free content according to the developers. You have 4 different characters. There's nothing really unique gameplay wise about each character. It's more of just kind of like a different skin at the moment. And we're just going to boot this game up. I'm actually playing with bots this time. If you guys want to see the gameplay with actual people, we stream this on twitch.tv/XBLAfans. I know the VOD is still up there, and you guys are more than welcome to check out me, Wiley, Jagoosh, and Jester checking this game out together. And I will admit that having played it with multiple people, playing it solo was not the same experience. Some benefits to playing it solo is I did kind of hear a little bit more of the characters interacting because you're not having to deal with, like other people talking over it. But at the same time, I don't really think that's worth what you're missing out on. So the way this game works is you have unlimited pistol ammo and you can pick up a primary gun somewhere along the way. It's very Left 4 Dead-esque, and I mean, that's obviously intentional. You'll see throughout this game that this entire game takes a lot from Left 4 Dead. Instead of zombies, though, you're going to be fighting aliens. These pistols are pretty effective if you get those headshots. Other than that, though, not so much. But they're not bad. It's obviously something that you're going to need to use because otherwise you will run through your ammo pretty quickly in this game. There are hordes of enemies. For all I know, it may actually be more effective to just kind of try to run through the levels versus actually try to kill everything. I believe I'm playing on normal or like hard, whatever the second or third difficulty is. There's some environmental things that you can kind of play with. Like the physics on them is a little weird. Like you'll notice it just goes straight up and down, never tilts, never does anything weird. This is a good example, though, to show you kind of the pistol's not so strong. Trying to break it, one pistol shot's not going to do it. Change guns, though, and I'm going to do this later on in this video, and I'm able to pop that thing instantly with my primary. And that's just kind of a nice little tell on the damage there a little bit. But this game takes place in the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of a guerrilla warfare style thing against a bunch of aliens. So you're going to fight these hordes of enemies that are just going to kind of come around. Apparently there's some futuristic weaponry. I have not actually seen that, and I have finished the main campaign, basically. So, or the first campaign, not really the main campaign. So I don't really know what they're talking about with that one. Because to me, there's nothing that felt very futuristic. Obviously, there's like deployable sentry turrets and like chain guns and a few other things like that. There's a decent variety in the weapons, but nothing that felt like incredibly unique per se. There wasn't a gun that, like when I'm looking back on this game, I'm gonna be like, that's the Earthfall gun, so there's not really one of those. Most of the guns do feel pretty good. Obviously, you've got these kind of Left 4 Dead-esque super zombies or aliens. And those guys, you've got kind of the same archetypes that you see in Left 4 Dead. You've got the guys that are going to, when you shoot them, they blow up. You've got some spitters. You got the guys who are going to pin you. You got the guys who are going to try to drag you away. I believe each of those were done in Left 4 Dead as well. It's been a while since I played that game, but it's a pretty fun game. So the enemies are procedurally generated, which makes things a little bit different each time. You never really know what's going to hit you when. And that's pretty interesting. One of the cool things is later on is there are some defenses you can kind of craft, as well as some kind of printable guns. So like there's one level in particular that is based around kind of turning on the power in this like kind of building. And as you do that, you can kind of get these health machines that'll let you heal, as well as printable gun machines, and that's pretty cool. This is one of the more unique enemies, I feel like, and it's a little bit crazy. He'll kind of teleport around. If you get too close to him, he's going to push you back. There are melee weapons in this game, however, I did not see a single one during this run. I have played an entire game just using melee, just to see how it would feel. And I can tell you it's pretty effective. The only problem with melee, and you'll notice this in this clip a little bit, even without the melee, is it's kind of hard to not shoot your teammates occasionally. Especially when you're playing with real people, because they're going to kind of do their own thing and run around a little bit. Someone's going to, like, some of these corridors get pretty small, and if they're not, you know, cross-shooting through a doorway where you're both hitting different angles, you're going to just end up hitting each other, and that's not exactly effective, because there is friendly fire in this game. And that's just something I've noticed. And when you do try to go in melee, that kind of ups the chance of friendly fire, because it gets a lot more difficult for the other players that you're playing with when you are going melee to avoid accidentally hitting you. And that's just something I've noticed. So there's some cool stuff through here. Again, it's going to have, you know, these deployable barricades later on. Unfortunately, I don't think I got to any of those in this level. It's like, looking back on this is not exactly the best level. I just picked one that I figured wouldn't have any kind of story spoilers or anything. Not that there really is like a deep story per se, but this is just the level that I knew would show you a couple different environments. It wouldn't just be the same kind of like, you know, building that you're in the whole time. And I kind of like that about it. There's a good bit of variety in the weapons. If we hadn't died later on in this, I think I actually would have gotten to the segment I'm thinking of that would have had pretty much everything. Now, this is a whiplash. Whiplashes are just going to grab you and pull you away. This game obviously is going to force you to work as a team, because if you get grabbed by the whiplash or the thresher, there's no way you can defeat them on your own. You're going to need teammate help, and that's something that's pretty essential in this game. Obviously, having real players can make that a little bit easier at times, because it's a little hard sometimes to convince the bots to go exactly where you want them to. There is a pushback, and you'll notice that that player was doing it there. You can shove, you know, stuff off you like that. This is my personal favorite gun in the game so far. I just love this auto shotty because it does insane amounts of work. When you're trying to just clear through zombie hordes, this is just one of the most effective ways to do it. The double pistols are pretty great as well. You can also find a magnum, as well as, again, like a fire axe or a machete. There's some different variety you're going to find there. There's a decent bit of variety in the weapons. Like, that's something that's been nice, is it doesn't feel like you're just using the same two guns over and over. You're going to find different automatic guns, different shotguns. There's snipers, there's a few other things. And obviously throughout the levels, occasionally there's like these environmental kind of hazards you can blow up. Mostly just kind of explosive barrels and stuff. Nothing wrong with that though in my mind. The explosions look pretty good. I would say graphically, this game is not exactly one that's going to blow your mind. It does use the Unreal 4 engine, and it looks pretty decent, but it's definitely not the game that's going to be like blowing your mind. It's not one I'm really going to grab to like kind of highlight the power of the Xbox One X personally. But as a whole, I've had a lot of fun with this game. I would definitely say it is substantially better if you're playing with people. It's just a much more like enjoyable experience that way. Obviously, you got to be pretty conservative with your ammo, with your health, with everything else going on. And you're going to fight, you know, different enemies than just what you're seeing here. You're going to see some variety and some kind of like bigger enemies later on in this video. So again, like stuff like the whiplash is really what's going to end up killing you if you're playing with friends and someone just decides to lone wolf it. If they get caught by that thing, it can sometimes result in a death. But other than that, like it's really just going to be the big bad that kind of takes you down. Because the hordes of enemies are not too bad, even if you're stuck with just pistols. There's a good bit of like ammo caches that you're going to find along the way. So if you do have a gun that you really like, you won't necessarily just have to dump it. And that's pretty great. Obviously, you got to figure out how to use your healing when you're in a situation like this where, you know, you've got 4 people who are nearly dead, but only 2 health kits. We're not doing too well with our health management. I feel like I never really saw that as an issue when we were playing as a 4-man group. So my guess is that the bots are not as good as a standard FPS player. You know, if you grab someone who's even familiar with the game, I have a feeling they'll do better than the average bot. These bots are set to the 3rd best difficulty, I believe. There is one higher where there's like an expert level bot. I don't know how that goes. There's a good bit of grenades and other things you can use as well. There's landmines, incendiaries, frags, bait bombs, just a lot of different things you can do there. Now we're going to push into this area, and this area is going to get a little bit crazy soon. Because this is where we end up dying. I remember when we played this with people, we had a similar issue, but thankfully we didn't stay hiding in the sewers. But unfortunately with the bots, I don't really think I could convince them to not do that. So when one of them goes down, another one immediately tries to go help them. And that just resulted in all three of them kind of going down at the exact same spot, which was pretty unfortunate. I think that's definitely something to do with the fact that the way the bots are designed, kind of. So hopefully that doesn't, you know, become a problem if you're someone who's playing just single player. Again, this is literally my first game playing with bots. I've beaten this campaign more or less with 4 people, and it wasn't too hard that way. And I really enjoyed the game. I think it's a lot of fun if you have people to play with. $40 may feel a little steep. It might be one of those games you look to when it's on sale. I mean, that's obviously a judgment call for you guys. That's not something I can make. You guys know better than I do, you know, what value makes to you. But I mean, I've had a lot of fun with this game. I think it's pretty well designed. It's a decent game if you're into like the Left 4 Dead kind of genre in a sense. It's really good. Obviously, there's Vermintide 2 that just came out as well. So that's another game you need to consider. I'll have at the end of this video, I'll make sure that we link back to our Vermintide gameplay so that you can check out that game as well. Both of them are pretty solid. This one I feel like is a little more direct Left 4 Dead. You know, it's more gunplay oriented. The other one is a little more fantasy setting. The music change is how you know that the big bad guy is here now, and we're gonna have to deal with him, unfortunately. And I believe I am now super separated from my team because they, instead of pushing through with me, have decided to just fight him in the sewers. And fighting him in the sewers is not going to work. It's pretty ineffective. He's huge. He's got a laser beam. And he like one-hit KOs you, basically, if you let him punch him. So this is going to be a little brutal. I knew the moment this happened, I'm like, okay, there's very little chance I beat him on my own here with the fact that there's other enemies I have to deal with as well. I shouldn't have even bothered to come back down because, again, this is what it looks like down here. This is chaos. I just lost half my health for that. More than half my health. Okay. Looking back, I should have stayed up top. Maybe thrown some nades if I could have found them. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I really do appreciate it. We're going to have more ID at Xbox and other indie games for you guys through these quick tastes. We really hope you guys enjoy them. If you guys have feedback about them, please do let me know. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to just let more people know about these because they do take us a good bit of time to kind of get these through. And we're really, really hoping that they kind of take off. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for sharing and interacting. You guys have no idea how much that helps us. This has been Earthfall. It's out right now for $29.99. The deluxe version is the one that's $39.99. I noticed I made a mistake in that earlier in this video, so just letting you guys know now. Thanks again, guys, and later.